Okay guys, this is the Kerbal Space Shuttle mod. It's something I made a video of many moons ago. Probably a bad video, so let's not watch it. Let's just preserve the illusion that I know what I'm doing. A little while after I made my Kerbal moon landing video in VR, I got it in my head that a good follow-up would be a VR shuttle mission, you know, from start to finish. But, you know, things got in the way. I never wound up doing it. This looks great in VR. I don't know what it looks like for you guys. But anyway, so I worked up a little mission plan for that a while ago. Made myself a really sweet to-do list. Looks just like the real NASA thing. And then promptly never got around to doing it. I don't know how long it's been, but we're finally here. I've got an evening where I'm not doing anything else. And, oh shit, I don't want to drive into the fucking thing. We'll get into the space shuttle in a minute and get ourselves set up, but I just wanted to show it off because, of course, if we're doing a mission inside it, we're not going to be looking at it a great deal, so... fuck, what are we doing? Anyway. Yeah, do love me some Kerbal in VR. I think more people should do it, if they can get the plugin working. I recommend it 1000%. Yeah, we'll be getting in that thing in a second and getting our cockpit set up and... whoa, fucking hell. And ready for blast off. And before we take off, I'll just go over a couple of things. If I ever seem like I'm a little cramped and uncomfortable, it's because I am. The Kerbal cockpits are all scaled to be a good size for Kerbals. And unless you're in VR, that doesn't really matter, but once you're in here, like the whole... I would say the floor is probably at about my tummy level. The joystick is like hitting me in the chin whenever I look down. It does afford you the opportunity to do this though. You get to look out the window and see things you normally can't see. Which is very cool. I'll try not to do that too much because it's kind of cheating. A poo. And how's that? The Simpsons kicking that poor Indian guy off the show. How's that representation, I ask you? Anyway. The actual mission we're going to be doing today is flying up to a space station, docking with it, hanging out for a minute, enjoying the view, and then coming back for a re-entry. Not the easiest thing to do in VR because you can't see any of the heat warnings, like that something's about to blow up. So it can be quite hairy if you don't maintain the right attitude. And, yeah. But anyway, I'll just get this thing set up and we'll go for blast off. Cool. Now the beauty of this arrangement, other than the fact that I have a bunch of really good action groups all set up, is that I also have some audio cues that are going to be played out by the Moonbase voice guy. You know, I'm eating moon chips. Hang on, let's see if we can get him to do one.
I'm eating moon chips.
There it is.
Look at my space boobs.
He's going to be doing a couple of call-outs just for so I get the timing right in a few actions, because I can't, like, do this and read the checklist. So, here we go. Prepare to be amazed by my astronaut capabilities here. Alright, here we go. Resume flight. Okay, guys, I think we're ready for blast-off, and we have to make this sharpish because the space station's actually flying over and we don't want to miss it, so... Here's going nothing. Action group 1, here we go, ready for launch!
Ignition sequence.
Oh, let's keep this in vertical. Oh, hear those engines. Hang on. Oh, tip the nose forward, please.
Maneuver.
Can we roll right at about 50 meters per second, because we're at a good height. Oh! Geez, that engine's loud. Oh, she's dancing left and right. Look out the window. Oh, we're moving now. Something that I didn't realise until we were in VR, doing space missions like this.
Over 75 degrees.
Yeah, I gotcha. Is that these poor astronauts are like lying on their backs and upside down when they do the pitch over. I probably made that same observation last time. I've got the memory of a fucking parrot. But all I say, it must be deeply uncomfortable. All those G-forces and the fact that you're... Oh, fucking A, check it out, we're moving. It doesn't look like much to you guys, but to me, we're seriously booking. Oh, get the mouse off the screen, you dildo. I do that every fucking time. Whoa! Okay, getting out into the thin atmosphere.
60 degrees pitch.
That didn't take long at all. We're aiming a little low from what I want on the checklist, but it's manageable. Oh yeah, in fact we're aiming quite a bit lower than I wanted, but we should be okay. Getting ready to jettison those thrusters when they run out. Boosters, I should say. Oh yeah, we're really...
SRB separation sequence.
Okay, they're gone. Good. We just jettisoned the solid rockets. Now we want to be cutting the engine off at a certain apoapsis. Arbitrarily, I picked 85 kilometers. Seems pretty safe to me. Oh, we lost our camera. Interesting. Alright, here we go. 60... You know, I mean, it's Not really the most worked out launch profile you could have, but I've done a bit of homework, and I'm fairly comfortable that we have enough fuel to make it without too much dicking around. Are we ready? Let's pull the engines down a bit. A little bit more. Okay, 85. Okay, that's not a bad apparatus. Shit. Oh, okay. Now, some of the instructions I've written myself are that once we're out of the atmosphere, so let's call that 70 kilometers, we will be opening the cargo bay door. I don't know why, it just seems like a good time to do it. I don't want to forget to do it, is my point. Here we go.
Cargo bay door toggle.
Okay. Sweet. Alright. Now, where are we? Oh, we're actually not aiming where we want to be aiming. Let's get this recalcitrant spaceship to nudge its nose over towards the way we're actually headed. Oh, there's the moon. Been there, done that. And we're going to start boosting again to try and circularize that wayward orbit of ours. Oh, here we go. Oh, it's going to be all over the place if we can't get this thing to sit still, though. Ah! God damn! It rocks back and forward like you wouldn't believe. Oh. If you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm trying not to make my apoapsis go up so much. I wanted to keep that at about 85. You'd see there AP. It's a losing battle. I don't know, I can't... we want the periapsis to come up to about, I don't know, 70-ish. Just so that we're clear of the atmosphere and that we know we're not going to go wind up in the drink again. Okay, good. Let's just jam it a little forward. Ah! 70.6. It'll do. 85.1. Okay, it's not my best orbit, but it'll do. I actually don't know why I have these extra crewmen. We don't really need them. I'm fairly sure that all they do is slow the game down, so... where are we? Let's get our camera thing working here. Camera. There's one in the cargo bay. On the tail section. I don't know, I would change these if I could. But anyway. Hang on. Just checking the checklist here. Alright, what we're going to do once we get to our apoapsis, which is actually pretty soon, is we're going to be...
Retrograde mode.
Yeah, aiming retrograde. What we're going to be doing once we get down to our periapsis is doing another retro burn to circularize things a little more. We want a lower and faster orbit than the space station so that I'm not waiting all night to get there. Otherwise this winds up being like an hours sort of long mission. Having said that, with the way I'm doing things tonight, you wouldn't believe how bad I'm going. Okay. And there was a plugin I didn't even know about until very recently called QuickSAS, and it gives you a bunch of keyboard shortcuts for all these autopilot buttons that I didn't know how to get in VR before, so really pleased.
Retrograde mode.
See, we want to aim retrograde, we just do that. Retrograde mode.
Retrograde mode.
Can't beat that, can you? Alright, now let's get a little burn. We want a lower orbit than the space station, a consistently lower orbit, so that we're always going a little bit faster than him. And that way, the trip there shouldn't take, as I say, a fortnight. And aside from that, now it's just a waiting game. We can just amuse ourselves up here in the cockpit. I wonder how good of a view I can get of the spaceship. We still have the external tank. Oh, not bad, eh? Beautiful stuff. Anyway, alright. I will be jumping back in once the space station is a little closer. I'm picking at the screen here because I have to use the mouse, but we want to target the space station, Pompoko Station, which is getting pretty close. I only knew where it was though. Do we have target mode enabled on this thing? I'm trying to remember the button for facing the target. Let's see if I can get it right.
Anti-target mode.
No, that's anti-target. We want target.
Target mode.
Okay, so once we engage yes, the shuttle should aim at the station. We're not going to see it anytime soon, but at least we know we're not that far. Come on, reveal your mysteries to me. Reveal your mysteries to Zoidberg. Oh yeah, hang on. Yeah. I keep forgetting that the shuttle's basically uncontrollable when you have the main tank attached to it. Hang on. Shit. It should be out there somewhere. We're not going to see it until we're much, much closer, but it's comforting to know that it's more or less that way. Okay. We're actually getting further away from the station again, so I need to cancel that with the main engines and then try and line up a bit of a rendezvous.
Anti-target mode, target mode.
Oh god, I'm already sick of his voice. He's supposed to help me, and he's driving me nuts. Okay, hang on. Let's have a look. Okay, we're just doing a bit of a loop-de-loop until we're aimed at the station. Now we're gonna give ourselves a little bit of a burn towards him. Yeah, that'll do it.
Anti-target retrograde mode.
Jeez. This is actually way harder than I thought it was going to be. I practiced this like once or twice with everything in place, but the VR just makes it so difficult. Alright, there we go. Hang on. Oh, come on, you. Now, you can see the purple marker and the yellow marker, and what I'm going to try and do is burn the yellow one towards the purple one on my magic 8 ball here, which will have the knock-on effect of us flying more towards the station than we were before. And this is a frustrating thing because we're approaching the station, but we won't be able to see it until we're there, basically. We don't get like a beautiful look at it on approach, we're there, boom. So, that's one downside to space travel. Where are we? We are what I would characterize as booking. We're going pretty quick. 100, 200 meters a second or something. What do you think? This is such a tiny cockpit. I can look over on her screens like this. It's nuts. I'd really love some display of what our relative velocity is, because I can't find one. But anyway, we are 4 kilometers apart. It's getting quite, in space terms, we're quite close now. Not time to panic yet, but we're getting there. Shit. 500 meters. Should be right out there. Oh. A little bit of light burning. Really, very gentle on the throttle, just to try and keep these two within, let's say, a football field of each other. I'm going to say it, the moon was actually easier than this. Oh. I never had to do a rendezvous quite like this. Okay, we should at least be able to see the fucking space station. Can we get like a...
Prograde mode.
No, not that one.
Retrograde mode.
No, target mode.
Target mode.
Thank you. Honestly, you're driving me nuts, Fred.
No oxygen for you, bitch.
Oh, thank you very much. Okay. I don't know, maybe if I break my neck some more, I'll see the space station, honestly. Is that it? Oh, what a beautiful view with the sun and everything. I'm getting also some like blur on the lens because it's foggy in here, so I'm getting all sorts of great video effects. Okay. We are kind of headed towards the station, I think. If we could just... a little tap on the engines. Okay. Now what we want to do is aim away from the station so that we can jettison the main tank. Well, let's have a look at the checklist here. We're going to have to do a couple things. Number one, we're going to have to kill the main engines.
Main engine cut off.
Thank you. And we're going to want to aim... oh, where the hell is... where's the Kerbal? Okay. Like I say, away from the station. As in not directly at it. So that we can get rid of the tank without destroying the fucking spaceship. Let's have a look. But the things I do for love. Alright, hang on a minute.
Prograde mode.
Alright. Alright. Oh, I keep saying alright as if that's going to be like, you know, okay, now we're actually doing something. This is a shit video, I apologise. I'm really scatterbrained tonight. Okay. we're aiming along our direction of travel around the planet, which is the way I want to be when I jettison this thing. Check it out.
Laythe jettison.
Oh, we don't get to see where it went. Ugh. Oh well. I was kind of hoping for a little cinematic view of it. Oh. Ow, and I just hurt my back as well. When you're in VR, you forget the limitations of your real body and you just wrench yourself to pieces. Alright, let's target the space station again. Ding! Hey, where'd it go? Target the... Okay. Vessels. Execute Pompoko Station. She's out there somewhere. Right. Let's get ourselves lined up again. Going to be some really finicky and, needs to be said, boring flying in store. Because rendezvous in orbit, it's an inch-by-inch game. It's extremely gentle, finessed, tightly choreographed. Or at least it's meant to be. With me, it's more like Genghis Khan making a sandwich. Just, you know, slap the bread down. Okay, I don't know what point I was going to make with that. I need to get my fingers on the home keys again. Here we go. Whoa! Hey, what's going on? Why are we turning? Motherfucker. Okay. I have to complain about the piddly little thrusters on this shuttle. I'm really trying very hard to line up some sort of rendezvous. And the engines are just so weak. And what I'm most worried about is running out of our thruster fuel, because the only way to refuel it is to dock with the station. So if we if you see where I'm headed with this, if we run out of thrusters on the way there, we can't replenish them. And that also makes re-entry very difficult, because the thing becomes harder to control. There's a lot of stuff you have to think about. I really do love the space shuttle. When I was planning this mission and doing up the checklist and everything, I was on a bit of a space shuttle binge. Just, you know, reading about old missions and stuff. And I'm really into the old space shuttle. You know, early 80s stuff, when they had the old chunky screens and switches everywhere. Because it's mysterious to me. There doesn't seem to be a lot of really good documentation of it. I see a little bit of this and that, some old checklists and screen display layouts and stuff. Very nerdy shit. I don't know where I was going with that. Yeah, like I said, I was on a binge. And I thought, you know, wish fulfillment, I'll try and live it out. Live the dream. And it's a lot harder than I thought it would be. Okay. So there is Pompoko Station, something I built a while ago. It's not much to look at. Because, to be quite honest, I didn't think a really good station would run in VR. And this is actually kind of slowing down a little bit, so we'll have to play it by ear. But it's got everything a growing station could need. It's got a few slots for expansion, and it's going away from us. Come back! Come back, Pompoko! I do have a little bit of a diagram on my checklist for familiarization. And what I mean by that is there's a specific dock I want to get to on Pompoko. Now, I need to just look at this station for a minute. Not only to admire my handiwork and say, look how amazing I am, but there's also a specific docking port we want to use, because it's the only one I think I can get. Oh, no, there's a couple, but it's the one I like to get, so that we don't smash the shuttle into anything we shouldn't. So, I'm just going to call for some, as I say, finicky, delicate flying that only a grandmaster space pilot could achieve. Oh, there's a Kerbal in that thing looking out at us, I'm sure. Alright, we're employing liberal use of our thrusters. I'm not spamming them, I'm going to try and use them more or less as I usually would. I don't understand why we ran out of fuel so quickly. I must have done something wrong. But, anyway, part of the checklist is to try and keep the shuttle and the station lined up along that axis. And eventually drag our asses over to the port that we want. Well, oh, this is interminable. Interminable. Aha! We did it! There it is. Because what I did, because I couldn't get the docking camera working. Please don't make fun of me. I couldn't get the docking camera working, so I actually built a physical object to align the window of this ship with while I'm docking. I could try get the docking camera working, but I won't. We're gonna... Oh! That move just gave me the REOPs. The side roll. Oof. Okay, hang on, there we go. Oh! What's going on? Hang on. Okay. We want that docking port on a docking port that's like above our heads and behind us. And it's more or less lines up so that when that H girder thing is pointing right towards my windshield, we are lined up for docking, so... Oh, I wanted it to be a little more glamorous than that. Oh, and, you know, Star Trek style, but we're just going to have to try and get what we can get. Oh, hang on. No, we're underneath it. We don't want that. Come on, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. Releasing. Oh, what's going on? No. Okay, I've got my hands off the controls now. I think we did it! Oh, what happened? I lost my vision. Oh no, don't do this to me now. Oh, okay. Okay, phew. It kicked me out of the game for a minute. All I could see was the Oculus universe. Anyway. Okay, so... Really not the perfect docking. I think we're a little bit sideways from where I wanted to be. But, like I say, that girder there was a really handy visual aid for me to... I built it so that it would kind of line up with the heads-up display. And as you can see, I haven't really done that. I know, I'm bad at games. Just give me 2 seconds to fix the situation with the fuel. And the whole VR and Kerbal thing becomes a game of how much can you actually do in VR. And I found a solution to a lot of those problems, such as the autopilot mod, you know, thanks to whoever made that. Real lifesaver. Because the shuttle's really hard to control sometimes. Let's see. Well, the point I was about to make is I don't know if we can undock without actually taking the headset off, but let's have a look. Oh, look at that! In the target menu, there's a thing for undocking. Yeah. Oh, hang on. Undock. Yeah. Do it. Hey, what'd you do? Shit. Okay. Sweet. Alright. Okay, well I don't know what to do now. Let's have a look. It's actually really fucking annoying, but this thing's happening right now where I can't control the shuttle. I ran into this problem during the moon mission where sometimes another ship would become uncontrollable and there's nothing I can do about it. So, while I fiddle with this and try and get the shuttle controllable again, I thought we'd get a nice little look at it in orbit. Looks pretty fucking amazing to me. Don't know about you guys. It's such a cute space shuttle too. It's not, strictly speaking, the most accurate thing. It's sort of Kerbal-fied and cartoony, but very, very cute to look at. And, you know, I, for one, a lot of people hate on the space shuttle for being all kinds of too expensive and impractical and pointless. For the money they put into it, they probably could have done like a Mars mission, some people say. I don't really agree with that, but, you know. In any case, I still think it's a really cool ship. I'm wearing the shirt, for God's sake. Anyway, I'll try and fix this shit. After all those problems I had with the RCS fuel, I've just been kind of drifting around in orbit for a while, waiting for a good opportunity to... What? Sweet Jesus! Yeah, after all that fucking around in orbit with the space station, I've just been orbiting for a while, waiting for an opportunity to do my retro burn and land where we want to land, so I'm just going to take a few more minutes to do that. Give me a sec. Hopefully you can forgive me for that silliness. Now, we are looking for a specific sort of harbour, river/lake thing. It's hard to explain. I've got it written down on my checklist. There's a beautiful little map there and it shows me where I have to do a burn to go to land at one end of the runway and where I have to do a burn to land at the other end of the runway. It's all very... Basically, we're at the opposite end of the planet right now. And we do a teeny weeny burn and then we get around and we re-enter. And there is a science to it, but basically if we burn at the right time, we'll land more or less where we want to now. And having said all of that, it's really a bit of a prick to get right. We're aiming for a very specific part of the river mouth, and the only real guide I have is to look out the commander's window and hope that I've more or less lined it up correctly, so this is going to be a bit of a pig's breakfast, but here we go.
Retrograde mode.
More or less, we're at the point we want to be at. I just hope this works. Okay. We're doing a little burn to get ourselves into the atmosphere on the other side of the planet. What? I hope we're... Jesus, I hope I've done this right. Come on. And then once we touch the atmosphere, we're going to do something that the real space shuttle didn't do. And we're going to do one more really, really big burn to try and put the brakes on as much as we can. Because this thing... It's not exactly like the real space shuttle. It's got some problems, and I have to do everything I can to stop it from burning up, basically. Well, it's just you and me up here now. Alright, here we go. All things being equal, we should be entering the atmosphere pretty soon, so we're going to go...
Retrograde mode.
Retrograde mode, and we're going to shut the cargo bay.
Cargo bay door toggle.
Nice. Well done. And there's this giant floppy noodle of a spaceship tries to get itself into position. I'm going to say a silent prayer to the gods of space travel. And hope to hell that this works out, because... I'm going to be honest, I don't think we're doing too well with RCS fuel. And if we run out of that during re-entry, keeping the thing pointed the right way is going to be more or less impossible, and we might burn to death. So... we should be touching atmosphere pretty soon. I want the little red cross to aim at the middle of the yellow thing, and... you wouldn't think that's much to ask for, but... you know, this is Kerbal. We should be touching atmosphere momentarily. Let's have a look. 71 kilometers. Ugh, I can't wait that long. I did a no VR practice run of this a couple of weeks ago, and I did what I thought was the correct burn and everything. And everything was absolutely beautiful, but it was a night landing, and it took me a while to realise that the Space Center was absolutely nowhere to be found, and I landed on the completely wrong part of the planet. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen tonight. Okay, retro burn. And I have no idea how much fuel we've got left. I basically just burned everything left in the ship that was locked up in some tanks that we weren't using at launch. And that usually winds up being enough to slow us down so much that we don't just combust when we reach peak heating. How they ever got the real shuttle to do this, I don't know. This burn feels like it's gone on for way long. But not in a good way, like, because I'm not seeing the velocity reduce that much. I don't know what number I'm aiming for here, I never really took note of it. 1.7 kilometers a second, I mean... what does that mean? Okay. Enough mumbling. We are now going to turn the shuttle to face forward. See, I don't know. Are we too far? The space center is on the other side of those mountains over there.
Look at my space boobs.
Wrong.
Retrograde mode.
Fucking wrong button. Hang on.
No oxygen for you, bitch.
Oh, thanks a lot. Okay. I wanted prograde mode. I think we've got it now. Now I've got myself a neat little rule of thumb. Is that we want to be aiming about 20 degrees above the horizon until we hit 50 kilometers, and then we have to level out. And that's nothing like what you would think. The real space shuttle was sort of up on its haunches for a good deal of proceedings, and it was doing turns and banks and stuff to try and dissipate the heat. If you try and do any of that in this shuttle, you just blow up. I don't know why. Blame the people that made the plugin. Anyway. And I don't know if you'll see any of the groovy heat effects or bits burning, but we'll find out in a minute. 54 kilometers. And the really beautiful part of this is if you do burn up, you don't get a warning or anything. There's no beep, 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 beep. It's just like the real thing. You just go BANG! And you're dead. You're left sitting there thinking, what happened? Okay, 50 kilometers, we level out. We try and keep it level. All the while hoping that we don't run out of jets. Yeah, the space center's right down there. I think I've gone too far. Oh my god, I didn't want to overshoot. I really wanted this to go well. Like, a one-shot deal. It's just too much to fucking ask for, isn't it? Oh, shit. see some gases out there, so we are starting to heat up. Oof. Would you look at the speed of this thing? Oh, let's try and keep it horizontal. I don't really know what happens if we pitch down too much. I only know that if we pull up, it just blows up. And it's not pretty. Oh, come on, come on. The number we want to see on velocity is 1.2 kilometers a second. That's when you more or less know that things are cooling down and you're not going to blow up anymore. Oh shit. I would ideally love to just pitch down and aim for the space center and not put up with this. Oof. Things are looking bright red out there. 1.6. Oh god! Pulled up too much. Oh! We get some sort of turbulence or something, I don't know. 1.5 kilometers a second. Come on, get us down to 1.2 and we'll be alright. Oh! Jesus, this thing is so hard to fly. I wish that... I don't know if joysticks work in Kerbal, but... I wish I could plug mine in. Now, in the checklist, there are provisions for landing at either end of the runway. And it's just like the real NASA runway, it's got two different names for each end. Like, you know, there's... one end is called... oh, where's my checklist? 09? And the other one's called 27, so... Oh, I think we've just about made it down to the safe zone. 1.3, 1.2. Yeah, I'd say that's it. We are very high if we want to land at 09, so we might land at 27, which I don't like doing because it's over the sea. We have to... Yeah, but it looks like what's going to happen. So let's have a quick gander at the target menu here. Targeting 27. Ding. Ah, jeez.
No oxygen for you, bitch.
Yeah. Alright. Well, shit, we're at 20 kilometers altitude today. And we're going to be nosing down. Oh, and I did leave some room for landing at the island runway, but that's a fucking nightmare. I don't recommend it if you're ever doing a mission like this. And we should be subsonic by now. I'm cheating. I don't want to look through the floor. I just want to... Okay. We're going to bank to the left a bit. Oh. Try and do a nice wide turn to the right again and get ourselves lined up with the runway. Oh, this is such a nightmare. Because aircraft in Kerbal Space Program, they just drift after a while. They just run out of all their velocity and there's nothing you can do about it. And this thing being a glider, we've really got not a lot of chance to... Ah, shit. You know what's going to make me feel really stupid is if we don't make it to the island and we don't make it to mainland. Ugh. Alright, stop beeping at me, God's sakes. Okay. Actually, I feel pretty good about this. I can see the space center. I think we might be alright. We're going to try and stay high for now. Hyphenate. And then drop it in, and hopefully we'll land with a good amount of speed. You guys getting any of this? I hope so. I thought this space shuttle mission would be the best thing to do in VR. I don't know. I had other ideas. I thought about Minmus or Duna, or maybe somewhere I haven't really been before properly, but so much of this game is spent in the map view, speeding up time, that, you know, it's what do you do in VR? You just sit in the tin can and see a different planet out the window. So, I don't know. Hopefully you'll agree with me that a space shuttle mission was the best thing to do. Keeping in mind, it wasn't a mission. I mean, I didn't actually do anything. I just visited the space station, but still. You know what I mean. Just something to show off the... Oh, God. What's going on? Just to show off the operations of a Kerbal mission. I'd like to be lined up. See, this is what I'm talking about. We're allegedly going at 100 meters a second right now. I don't feel as though we're moving at all. The real shuttle came in like a goddamn thunderbolt. Even when it was gliding, I mean, it was like hot off the press. Alright. Well, we are probably out of RCS, but we don't need it anymore, so boom. We are just going to coast. I've got the runway more or less lined up on the nav ball here, so... I remember when I made that really shitty video of trying to land this thing in the cockpit camera. You know, could never have dreamed I'd have VR a few short years later. No, but when I made that video, it was really hard to try and do through the window. I'm going to say VR helps a little bit, but not by much, because we are still off to one side a bit, and you're still sort of separated from seeing where the wheels are and everything. We do have nose camera here, though, so that should help me keep centered a little bit. And something I've never made a video of, but probably should have years ago when I got it, was the iPad game where you land the space shuttle. Now, if you want to see someone who's fucking good at landing a space shuttle, give me an iPad and give me that game. I've done it a billion times. I think I'm ready for the real thing, to be honest. Oh. We've actually drifted off to the left a bit as well, so let's try and... Jeez, we're going so fucking slowly. Mother of God, I'd love to speed this shit up. I'm sorry, guys. Just so you know, I wanted to be on the other end of the runway. Right now. Coming in over the ocean just feels so tenuous. Let's just bank a little bit, because I can't get this thing centered. I like it like my candles. I like it scented. Alright. It's not like a real airplane. Our orientation doesn't seem to matter. Well, that's, you know, in this day and age, it's all you hear about, isn't it? Okay, here we go. Target mode, maybe?
Target mode.
Maybe if I just press that. See, I don't like doing this with too much autopilot, but I think it's the only choice I've got. Because I can't sit here for another 5 minutes trying to encourage the nose to point where I want it. See, I can't do that. I can't be bothered. My joystick has Parkinson's. Alright. Okay. Shortly, we are going to disengage that autopilot. And just put on stability assist again. Okay, we're going to keep the nose up. Won't be good for our velocity and for our landing energy, but it'll be alright for everything else. Because that'll give us some time to dive, pick up more speed if we need it. Okay, here we go. Okay, coming down on 27. Oh, getting an altitude warning. Wait to the last second to get those gears out.
Landing gear toggle.
Landing gears out. Whoa, let's pull up. Ah. Let's bring it down, boys. Here we go. Here we go. Okay, I know we're off the center line, but I can't do much about it. Touchdown!
Landing chutes activated.
Landing chutes activated. Oh! What a landing! Stay on the center, you fat bitch! Parachutes are out. Oh! Oh. Okay, I kind of wanted to be more on the runway for my runway landing, but there it is, guys. A full shuttle mission in VR.
No oxygen for you, bitch.
Thanks, guys. I did a pretty good job, I think. If there's any more VR shit you think I can do in this game, let me know. But otherwise, that's it. Take care of yourselves and each other.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. Wealthy kids, black kids, Asian kids. No, I really mean it, but think how we think about it.